Hello, friends, and welcome to a special On the Fives live stream. I know it's been a little bit. It's been a very crazy late winter. We got like a really good start and things just kind of got fuzzy. But I am excited that you guys are all here tonight and we're going to have a really good conversation because the Red Five Reading Book Club, we have been reading Andy Weir's Project Mary this past month. And the movie just came out. So good timing. And it was great. So I'm so excited to bring on my guest here in just a few minutes so we can have that conversation with you guys. As well as Project Hail Mary. Another quick thing I have been doing. Tonight, one of our guests is from the Dingus Den, and we have been doing recordings for Batman's The Long Halloween. It has been so much fun. Something that I did not expect to ever try or do my world. And I'm so excited because Spencer gave me an opportunity to do this, and he knows, and I'm going to share something with you. I have absolutely fallen in love with Gilda, a character I hardly really knew. I knew, but I didn't know. And I love her. Anyways, and I'm so excited because there's a lot more coming up on the Dingus Den with the Batman Long Halloween. So check out the Dingus Den for the past episodes. And the next one's coming out in just a weekend, April 1st. So make sure you check it out. Follow the Dingus Den on X as well as Instagram. And we're going to get more information about that from Spencer later. And you know what? Speaking of Spencer, there's something him and I normally like. So I'm going to bring him on so we can chit chat for just a half a minute. Hello, Spencer.
Hello.
Welcome in. I just have I have to bring it up.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome.
I know, right? But that hasn't been my only recent read, although I haven't read the other one yet. I have to show you one, well, actually two others. This just should not shock anybody, okay? There it is.
Muppets Noir. Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm. But also this. Phantom of the Opera in comic book.
Oh, yes.
I know. I'm so excited. This I might have to actually get in book form when it's all done. It's going to look so nice. So nice.
They've been doing a bunch of those. I know there's a Frankenstein one out. I think the newest one that just came out.
Right, and I have that.
Is Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Oh my gosh. And the Phantom. And I was just like, when I saw the Phantom, I was like, oh, gimme. Like, this is me at my local Graham Cracker Comics. I'm like, gimme. I want, like, I just want to read, right?
Of course.
So, and of course, I mean, I love the Muppets. If you know me, you know me. And then I'm so excited for the Mall series. And I know you are, yes,
I am.
Yes. So
very much looking forward to it.
So excited for the upcoming season, series of Mall, Dark Lord. And I want to real quick mention, so this upcoming weekend, I'm going to C2E2, where Andy Weir is going to be, actually.
Oh, wow.
I know. I'm so excited, you guys. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I will be meeting Andy Weir this weekend. In the past, I've met Timothy Zolnow, I've met Charles Soule, I have met E.K. Johnston, who wrote Ahsoka. I'm fingers crossed I'll be meeting Andy Weir this weekend. Fingers crossed, everybody.
Very
but
nice.
the reason I'm mentioning it is because a couple of years ago, Sant Whitworth, who voices Maul, I swear he is you guys, he is just Maul. Okay. He is Maul. I swear if he would have had the opportunity to actually done the physical thing, I think he would have. He's amazing. But it was so interesting because a few years ago, we saw him on panel with Ashley Eckstein and the crew from Clone Wars. And it was so amazing to see them interacting. So amazing. And they were going in and out of voices. And, even Ashley mentioned that how, if there's somebody that can outdo like Dave Filoni, it would be Sam Witwer. And I'm like, no, this is so awesome. And so now that I'm getting ready to go to C2E2 again over the weekend in Chicago, I am just like, okay, what else am I going to get this weekend? And am I going to get anything like from years ahead? Because he even talked about it then. Like, he wanted more for Maul, right? But you know what I mean? There had to be a time and a place. And here we go. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped for that. And if anybody's going to be in the Chicagoland area, C2E2 this weekend, I will be there, but you will not see me like this. I will actually be cosplaying over the weekend. I'm so excited. Call me dorky, but I'm so excited because Jodie Benson's going to be there. 1989. If you know, Little Mermaid. She's done way more than that, though. Okay, folks, if you look at her resume, she is an amazing voice actress as well as actress. And so Friday, I'll be actually cosplaying as Ariel. And Saturday, returning as Princess Leia. And Sunday, I'm debating. I might either return as one of those two or possibly Peach. And I have not done Princess Peach in years, so I'm really excited. So if you're at C2E2, send me a message on X. I am totally game. Let's just say hello really quick to our friends. Oh, hello, Thursday Night Frights. Oh, and that's you. It's just for the Dingus Den. I hate to jump off. No, it's all good. Thank you for dropping in. I'm just so excited for everybody and anyone who's here and anyone who's lurking. Speaking of lurking, let's go ahead and bring out our other friend that's joining us tonight, so we can get our conversation started. Hello, Ubaldo.
Hello, how's everybody?
Tired? You guys, I have to admit something though, okay? So this past week I have made a new discovery. Don't laugh at me, but I drink Crystal Light. I'm not ashamed. Anyways, Crystal Light now has a packet that is like peach iced tea that has caffeine in it. Your friend is burning on that today. Like that and Full House energy drinks. That's my I'm like, as all natural as possible, but yeah.
Hey, if it keeps you going.
Oh my gosh, it is. I'm like, okay, so a little change up to the coffee situation. That's okay. So, but yeah.
There you go.
I'm so excited that you guys are both here. Again, and we were just mentioning Batman and Mall, and I'm just so excited for all those upcoming things. But again, I'm so excited because you guys are gonna have to tell me if you have any questions I should take with me. Because he's also gonna be doing a panel. Okay, Andy Weir's doing a panel, and I'm so excited, you guys, because if he does a panel, I'm gonna have to ask a question. If I get to meet him, I'm gonna have to ask a question. So if you guys have any suggestions or thoughts, please send it my way because I'm just so excited. I just fingers crossed I get to meet him, and it's always interesting. Everyone goes, what celebrity was excited to meet? And I'm always like, you mean which author I'm most excited to meet? And this year, he is on my top of my list. That's Last year was Timothy Zahn. The year before was Charles Soule. The first year I ever went was E.K. Johnston. This year, I'm like, no, I want to meet Andy Weir. This is who I want to meet. I want to meet this author.
I bet he'll be quite a busy person this weekend.
I think so. And
very.
Yeah, I was so excited because last year we read The Martian. Amazing. It was great. At this point, I think we're going to start having once a year reading an Andy Weir book at this point because it's just, he's such a good storyteller. He's so good.
Very.
So with that being said, let's go and hop into our discussion about Project Hail Mary, the book part, because we are also, spoiler ahead, we're going to be talking about the movie too. Don't worry, we're going to try to go as spoiler free as possible. I mean, it's possible. We're going to try. So, Andy Weir, Project Hail Mary, overall thoughts.
It's one of those books that, it's one of those books that, who do you put first, The Martian or this one? I
know my answer, but go on.
Does it have to involve with potatoes, Spencer?
Yes! Potatoes! I was waiting for a potato to show up in this book. I was hoping we would have gotten a potato. If we would have gotten a potato, I would have lost my mind. I really would have been like, now we're complete.
Yeah, that's one thing you need to ask him if you talk to him. It's like, why didn't you put a reference of a potato in this book?
We want to know, why didn't you put a reference to it? He probably didn't think about it. It could have been like one of the food things, like a food paste, like potato food paste.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, oh my God, you thought about it. You thought about it. I love when authors do that. You know what I mean? When they drop something in one book that's also in another book and in another book, like, but with, it's connected but not connected.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love when
Very,
I love
very
that.
true.
Mm-hmm.
I really couldn't put which one I like the best, but this one it's got a slight beat The Martian a little.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, this one is just fantastic. Reading it here like what, my third time already. So it's like it's just amazing.
No.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, sorry. Did I
I've
say
read
3
it 3
times?
times, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What about you, Spencer? Have you read it 3 times already while you eat your potatoes?
I only read it once. And it was a pretty quick read, kind of essentially reading it all in the span of a week. And so I did really enjoy it. It was an awesome time, great time reading it. I mean, I would agree that it is an absolutely fantastic read, just like The Martian. I think both of those are must reads, but this one, even though I was definitely hooked on The Martian and loved The Martian, and we were on here last year, like a year ago, talking about how great that was.
Yes.
A lot of my thoughts on this are like the same, and it's somehow even better. And so I really love this a lot. Like it's great.
I did. Really enjoyed Project Hail Mary. What I feel like I enjoyed about this, though, was a nice balance between humanity, talking about talking about Martians, thinking about Martians, aliens. There's just some really, he just has a really good way of writing about it. It's not like pushed in your face, but it feels right. I don't know how to explain that. Like, some
I get
authors
what you mean.
push, you know what I mean? And like push an agenda. In this case, it felt like he weaved it in just right. And friendship, which of course,
Yeah.
Hello, Rocky. Hello. He did it just right. I really did really like Project Hail Mary.
The thing, the thing is that that it's fantastic is it's just one person, in the story. If you really think about it, the main character, and he tells us a great story. In The Martian, on this one, of course, you had some characters, but no matter if they're alone, how his style is, abandoning these people, like, out there just to survive, but he puts a great story together. And it's like, it makes you, how smart can a person be? And he does it very, very well.
Well, I think the only thing, okay, deeper question, is it has been on my mind, both book-wise and movie-wise, across the board. So sorry, y'all, this is a slight spoiler. And that is in regards to, our main character was kind of forced into this project, and it's like, I mean, in the long run, he learned to love it and enjoy it and found like meaning in it, but I'm like, the ethics in me, the moral in me is like, why did we do that? Why didn't he write that part different? I think that's the only thing. I was just like, I maybe that's my question to him. Why did you create a character that was forced into this versus fully willing? You know what I mean? Like, okay, you know what I mean? I mean, I know it's a hard decision, but I think that's the only thing I'm kind of like, I mean, I get it, but was it ethical?
Well,
like, hey, Spencer, we're going to send you to space next week. Don't care what you say. You're going. You better pack your comic books tight to your bag. You go. You're going. Don't try. I'm going to send some big guys over there. You're going to Venus.
Yeah, because you're number 2, Yeah.
Number 2, apparently.
Yeah.
Be honored.
But you're number 2 without knowing it. And if whoever read that book, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Ow. We might as well get an early colonoscopy, Spencer. You'll be set, okay? What about 20 years early? He's like,
yeah.
About that. I'll get back to you all on that one.
Here we go. Ryan Gosling could promote, like, colonoscopies. The Project Hail Mary style.
Oh my God. Oh, that was too good.
Hello, Science Dictionary. Andrew, so good to see you.
Andrew.
Oh my gosh.
Now let me ask you this. Did you guys like the back and forth and the, how all these flashbacks?
I didn't mind it.
I like the way.
I thought it was done well.
Yes, very well. As he's, as he wakes up and it's like, okay, what's going on, and how slowly it comes to him, and how he starts remembering everything.
Yes.
And if it's just right as he's progressing.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially when he's trying to find, who am I?
I thought that was and again, I know we're gonna save the movie for when we get there, but I feel like that's the one thing they kind of jumped to a little quickly.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about Project Hail Mary. Tolkien's another day. Although I know it's Tolkien Day for Lord of the Rings. I get you, my friends.
Quite a big announcement for it today.
Yeah. Yes, very big.
I saw Andrew released a video on it. I need to check it out. I'm excited to delve into that. Talk about that with some people.
You want to talk some Tolkien? Go check out Science Fictionary. Because that's where that's at today. And I'm going to see 2E2 where Andy Weir is going to be over the weekend, which is where I'm heading up to tomorrow. And so we wanted to get this in before I headed that way. So yeah. I really did enjoy the friendship between him and Rocky. Between Grace and Rocky. I like that. Oh, and it's interesting because when Star Wars did it with Geode got a really bad rep for the most part. So why is it that like Andy Weir can write a story with a rock named Rocky? Really, it's an alien rock named Rocky. And it's done just right. Or at least in my opinion, I thought it was done just right.
I mean, Rocky was a whole other character and not essentially a joke that wasn't there the entire time. Don't get me wrong, I found Geode really funny. And when Geode was there, it was really funny. But no, Rocky was just a whole-on fantastic other character in this. And Rocky, for me, is the biggest part that stood out. And both the versions of the story. And so, Rocky is just a great character that they did a lot with. They learned a lot. We got some really interesting things with Rocky throughout the course of the story, and really it made you care for an alien that doesn't have a face and all this stuff. And so it's pretty cool.
It's interesting. Well, he didn't actually have a face. I just felt like he had a face. You know what I mean? Because he had just this spirit and you just felt it. Even in the book, I felt it. And again, kudos to Andy Weir and this wonderful book. Wonderful, wonderful book. In regards to settings, how did we feel? Did you guys enjoy the way, the settings were? I know that we talked about Aaron. That was another thing. The whole references with Rocky. I liked that. Like Rocky, Balboa, and Aaron. I love that. I did like that. Adrian, sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump to that, but my brain went, oh, but what about this?
Well, as much time as they're spending together, just them two is and just very basic. Instead of making it complicated, it makes sense just to call him Rocky, So it keeps you in the story instead of going off where the story's going. So
Right.
pretty simple. And if we think about it, it was a perfect name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Um, but yeah, so going back, what are we thought? What are our thoughts on the settings? Did you guys like it? Do you guys like how he was writing about various planets and the ships and?
No, I think it all worked for like exactly as it needed to. And so I think is definitely, I mean, everything on this, and I think the big reason why I prefer this over like The Martian is because not that I mean, The Martian's great, but I think this just wins it because of its grander scale. And that's what I'm going to kind of like relate this to in this question as well, is like, oh, it's not just that you're stuck on Mars the entire time and getting like, you know, sure, there's some interludes here and there, but like here, yeah, we're kind of getting essentially a lot more of those interludes, but it's on, you know, in the form of the flashbacks, and it's like, oh, it's not you're just stuck on Mars, but like you're instead stuck in like a much more cool space station that has 2 modes, you know. The space station's like almost a transformer or something like that, you know. And so it's really cool. And plus being able to actually go to I mean, I don't want to say exactly on how it ends, but like you get to go to at least one really cool planet, and being able to explore what can be out there in a realistic fashion is really interesting. Because that's the thing, is like, obviously this is fictional and certain sciencey parts of this isn't possible, but what makes this really fascinating is how much of it, you know, can actually like is based upon science that is actually legit and not made up things like, you know, Star Wars with its hyperspace lanes or hyperdrives and, you know, stuff like that, you know.
Oh, come
like
on,
actually
that's real.
real stuff.
And I have to agree with you. I actually want to bring up something though, in regards to the realism, and that is the weather. Mother Nature. I mean, they don't call it Mother Nature, but like the science in taking care of our planet. And that was huge because they're going to Venus. The sun is, you know, things are happening with the sun and all these things. And even Antarctica, like the explode, you know, helping to bring on global warming. And even they talked about solar panels. And I'm just like, wow. You know what I mean? For a moment, it really did make me go, wow. Why? Because how many past science fiction movies, or even non-science, but science movies, really actually hit home like that in the long run, or books?
Yeah.
Example. Okay. I'm going to mention some kid ones, but that's okay. Wall-E. Hello. Taking care of your planet. Hello, we also see it in the movie. There's a movie called Robots, parts, getting rid of all the other stuff, not reusing what's the old, you know, like, so it's like, hello, you got to take care of this stuff. You got to do this. You know what I mean? That reminder. And I thought with this, it was just like I just kept thinking about our planet. When I was reading the book, when I was even in the movie theater, I just kept thinking, well, what else can I do? How can I help? And I don't know if that was Andy Weir's, like, one of his objectives was to have a fan like wondering, or a reader like go, hey, how can I do this? But it made me truly wonder, how can I be a friend like Rocky to nature or to our earth to take care of things? So whether that was his objective or not, it hit me and that's where it kind of pulled my strings. Because I just, you know, especially because then in the long run, okay, we're not going to tell you what happens in the long run. I almost did. I came close. I'm not going to tell you because I want you guys to read it.
Well, even as you're pointing that out, the relationship between with Strat, you know, the length, or should I say, the strings that she had to pull in order to create this project. You know, the conversation with all the scientists, the Germans, the Russians, the everything. Even it gets excited in the book where, hey, Strat comes and gets him, and tell me what you find, and all of a sudden he finds this and finds that. Then when he goes from a jet to Hawaii to here to there to an aircraft carrier, and then next thing you know, he's like, well, I'm with the Chinese, and why are we out here? And then he explains the science of doing for everything that they do, which is fantastic. And then he, as it goes through, through the book, that relation he builds with these scientists, and the aha moments, what you discovered. Oh, great to meet you, and this and that. So even though he's in space, but these flashbacks are fantastic, even when he's in space. So, it's like, I don't know how much you want to spoil it, but the relationship of two people, and Grace is like, oh, I don't want to know. And he's like asking questions, and at the same time, he doesn't want to know. And it's like, it's a funny moment because you bring the humanity of all of them, of all these scientists. So that's why I love this book, because you have your laughing moments, you have your serious moments, and you have your hooray moments.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes. And speaking of those other two characters, again, it is bittersweet, and he does do it just right and honoring.
Yeah.
Things are honored in just a wonderful way, which I appreciated a lot. I appreciated it. We're going to switch over a little bit. We're going to switch over to talking about the movie. I'm assuming both of you guys have seen the movie now. Okay. You guys tell me if I'm wrong, and you can tell me I'm wrong, but this has got to be, well, it's not 100% book to movie adaptation, because this movie would have to be 5 hours long, maybe 7, maybe 6. But considering it wasn't, this was a pretty darn close book to movie adaptation.
It was the thing that
mostly, not all the way.
Right. There was certain details and ways that changed, and when I thought about them, I'm like, it's really just them adapting it to movie, because I found it crazy, because for me, I'm like, oh, they're going through these events really fast, it felt like to me. And compared to how we read it in the book, I absolutely did. But then next thing you know, it felt like you watched an hour and a half of the movie, and it was the whole 2.5 hour movie. And so that also just shows, I think, part of how well done it was, with being able to cram so much into one story. The only thing that threw me off, and it bugged me when I was watching the movie, until maybe a little bit near the end, I was kind of able to accept it a little bit. Was it kind of bugged me of like, for a story that's about a lot of science stuff, they really don't delve into much of that as it does in the book. And that's one of the big things that, like, I'm not saying this is a knock against the movie. It's just something I know, like, I when watching it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because that's like a third of this book is explaining all this ideas, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I completely understood every single thing that he was putting down on that all the time. There's definitely, I think we can all agree that there's some few things that you probably would have to reread it. I imagine Ubaldo, you actually having read this a few times, you probably actually understand some of the sciencey things that he was talking about a bit better now that the story, and you're able to understand him, being like, oh, okay, so this is like, that's what this actually means, and and being able to understand it. And so the movie not really going into it, and I understand that part of it is probably like the subconscious movie level of like show don't tell, is like a golden movie role. And so like I think that's a big part of it. Of you see him doing a bunch of things, but then like it doesn't really like say it all what he's doing. It's just like, oh yeah, he's doing smart people stuff, but like you really don't realize what he's doing at all. If you don't know the story of what's actually going on. Like if you haven't read the book, I think there's a lot of details of what he's actually doing that would completely go over your head. But having read the book, it's like, oh, we understand what he's doing there. Okay, they don't explain anything at all. And it's a very important thing in the book. But and so Other than that, though, I thought it was a great movie, though. I put it. I mean, I guess we'll get into the rankings later, but like, it is one of those things that yes, it is a great adaptation, though, for what.
And I also thought it was a really good a great movie overall.
Right.
And really it's good for families. It was just good. It's a movie you could take your family to and not feel like grossed out, like if a certain type of scene happens. You know what I mean? Like you actually enjoy it. You know, whether it's on a date, by yourself, with your friends, with your family, with your grandparents. Good movie overall.
Yeah, Rocky watch.
Oh my God. Oh, I don't know about that part, but yeah, Rocky watch. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know, I agree with Spencer. It's like that's why kind of like when there's science and you have it on TV or movies, you know, they do a fast forward. You know, in the book, it's actually months, you know, to find a solution. And here was what, a couple of weeks, if I can recall, or something. Or that's like, no, science doesn't evolve that fast. Or you don't find a solution. You have to have your time. And in the books, it explained really well the time that goes by, you know. And I like that. That's what I missed about it in the movies. Like, oh, you guys are fast forwarding too quickly. But again, like you said, then it'll be a 6-hour movie.
Yeah. Like if it was made into a series or a 6-hour movie or part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
But considering, I thought they did fantastic. Like I think it's just because I feel like lately it's been rare when we get a really good book to movie adaptation or book to TV series adaptation. So I felt like that's why I'm like, this did like probably the best I've seen in a while, and it's great. Also, Ryan Gosling, awesome. He did great. He did fantastic. And he was recently on New Heights podcast. I happened to catch it, and I loved what he was saying. He was talking about Andy Weir and how he was on set and talking about all these great things, which I loved. He gave him complete props, but he also mentioned that Rocky practical effects. Heck yeah. Because that means Rocky wasn't he wasn't like AI. He wasn't like this fake little whatever. He was real. And I love practical effects. And I love that they took the time to do that. Like kudos that they did that.
I did love that. I didn't even realize that they did them practically until I was reading on it afterwards. I think that's part of, just a show of like how great they did with him in the movie. I also love too, that, I mean, just his depiction in general, I thought it was great across both mediums. I don't know about you all, and but like I really latched on to when I was first reading about him in the book. So I remember. Let me back up a moment of like what I knew about this story was kind of just some of what was in one of the trailers, but I knew that the trailer kind of gave a lot away, and I know the trailer like included Rocky. But I remember when that happened in the movie theater, and the movie I went to go see it for it, I remember kind of just like, I'm going to pay attention to my phone instead. And so my recollection of what I remember distorted because I wasn't paying attention is I thought he was a really tiny alien who, for whatever reason, was stuck in my brain. And I'm glad that I had a distorted version of something that wasn't true, because then when I got to read the book, I'm like, oh, this isn't what it is at all. Cool. I really like him. He's great. What I was going to say though was I really latched onto the fact that they were talking about 5 arms. What's 5 arms that we normally know of here? A starfish.
Yes.
So I thought of him as like a rock version of, like, if you all know Starro DC, that's what I was imagining with him, and not quite a crab creature. And you then see what the movie looks like, and it's like, oh, that makes a bit more sense than just imagining a rock version of Starro.
I want to say hello into Darth Beard. I love this. He says, it's a great book, but I think they did well to make an awesome movie out of it. And I really enjoyed it. Absolutely. And I usually find so many problems with books to movie. Truth.
Yeah.
That's why I said, I'm like, this is probably the best book to movie adaptation in a while for me. Like,
Right.
like I feel good about the book. I feel good about the movie. Like, hands down, like I can rewatch the movie, enjoy it, and read the book like Ubaldo over 3 times and still enjoy it. And I like that. So
Yeah.
definitely. Oh my god, so good and so excited. Like where's my physical media copy? Because that's gonna have to be a pre-order. And I
Yeah,
hope
the
Yes.
whole family loved it. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to get one.
it's
Yeah.
gonna, yes.
Well, you guys know that they're making some special editions of The Martian and this book. You know that, right?
have not
No,
heard
would
about
you
that.
like to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, they're coming out with some special edition books, re-release. There's some artwork inside the jackets and everything. So if you guys could catch it, I think you could already pre-order The Martian, which is coming out soon,
You know what would
and
be really
Project Hail
cool?
Mary
You
will be
know what
coming
would
out
be
soon
really cool?
too. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No,
I got
no, no.
excited. Because remember,
Yeah.
I'm going to C2E2. And who's going to C2E2 this weekend? But Andy Weir. Wouldn't it be so cool if he happened to have some things like that?
Well, December 1st is when the Project Hail Mary one comes out.
I said
It
I'd
looks
be excited
really
if it
nice.
happened to happen. But, you know.
It looks really nice, though.
Right?
There's a lot of books I'd be tempted to buy multiple times.
Mhm.
This is possibly be one of them because this looks really nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, the artwork is just fantastic on both of them.
Let me see if I can find the one for The Martian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so excited.
So that looks nice too. That one comes out in May 26th,
Yep.
so just a couple months away.
No,
I look at the inside cover and I just think it's Dune. I like that.
but it
though.
makes me wonder though, like what else Andy has up like his sleeve. Like I'm like, okay, why didn't we get any more potatoes in this Project Hail Mary? But at the same time, what you got coming? Because that I'm excited because this is the second book that we have read together of his that I am like, yes, thank you and thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
he's only released one other novel.
yeah, which we will eventually we will be reading because that's got to happen at this point. At this point, you know, got to. I'm just so excited. I'm excited because I want to know what else he's up to, but at the same time, I don't
Yeah.
want to pressurize. And then I'd rather have a good book that takes time than a crappy book that got rushed. You know?
Yeah.
For sure.
You know what makes it fantastic is like when we read The Martian and we read this now, it's like it's much science is in there. I think we all had a great time reading them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And see now, like I love Star Wars, but when it comes to science books, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I like it, but I don't like love it, right?
Hmm.
But oddly enough, like I really liked The Martian. I really enjoyed Project Hail Mary, and I'm just like, oh, what else of his can I read? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's
liked
just
it was just a nice balance.
yeah. I think that's what makes it special is you really don't get a great balance of having science and fictional story. You know, a lot of times when I'm not sure exactly of like what's been attempted before, but like a lot of times though, it's like, you know, we obviously get all this sci-fi stuff where it's just a bunch of made up things, which is perfectly fine. You know, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like, you know, it's fake science that they have. And then on the other end, there's like, you know, I don't know if there's anything what fictional science-based novels that's been out there, but obviously these have really stood out because it's been a great balance of both. Really a great, they figured out the great proportions to have for, well, this is how much science you include. That's also a great way to learn about it. I mean, that's what's great about these books, and I really can't think of anything else that's really like this, where it is able to tell a great original story while also teaching you these concepts. Because I think at the end of the day, it's like, is these things, do we need to know the specifics of each subject? No, not unless you're actually in the field. But still, I think it's also important that you understand of like, example for this is like knowing what a centrifuge is, really understanding what that is. That's a concept that a lot of people, I would think that unless if you're somebody involved in some sort of science major or science nut, you probably don't know what the heck that is. That word that I just said, you probably won't completely over your head, but you might now know of what that is properly because of reading a story like this, or even watching the movie, even though they didn't say, hey, this is what centrifuge is and what it does. They show you what it is, though, at the end of the day. And the book did spend a long time, or a fair bit, talking about like, yeah, this is what it is, and like, there's fingers and all that. And so like, it's a great idea to be like, these are real science things that are used that, I think there's a lot of great science concepts out there that people just don't realize as like a thing that is like that we know about, or like how it could be applied in certain ways. And so just having a great way to like learn and teach people of like, hey, these are like the great things that science is capable of. It's great. Like it's something that it's something that I think is missing just overall, since you don't when you're in like a professional sort of setting learning about these things, it's kind of hard sometimes to have this desire to kind of like learn about things.
Right.
Versus this does a great way of being like, oh, that concept's really interesting. Maybe I want to go read something about that later on.
Yes.
But
you had said something so important that, yeah, it's 100% true. Because we have been saying I feel like so many fans or so many people out there have been saying original, like not a sequel, not a prequel, not a reboot, or another adaptation, another, right? Like, especially when it's something that just got recently done and all of a sudden we're doing it again. Original. Maybe that's what it is that's really capturing me, is that, or part of the reason anyways, is that it is original books, original book to movie, great adaptations. Both of them were actually pretty good adaptations to the movies. And again, book to movie here, I thought it was stellar. And I applaud that. Like, just wonderful.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in Hollywood, we just haven't gotten that in a while. And it's like, we need that,
Not in a widespread way like this. And I think that's what we're saying with a lot of these great, this is a great success for, I think it was Amazon who put this out, which is interesting because they're not known, they're new to the movie business and all that.
Right. They bought Metro,
MGM,
yeah, they bought MGM, and that is a powerhouse, or a past powerhouse. Okay, although they come with some secrets, but they are that was a powerhouse of the golden age, of cinema, of the movies.
Yeah, I remember seeing that lion. I don't remember on what exactly, but I remember that lion.
Leo, yes, Leo the lion. Oh my gosh, we could talk about Leo a whole nother day, because that would be actually just a good conversation itself.
You know what? Also want to throw in is like what Spencer was saying right now. They even throw in the book of his kids in the classroom.
Yes.
How excited they were to be in his classroom.
I will say that was probably the thing that really, next to I felt the ethics and the morals of them. Pulling him to pushing him to make a decision, and then making the decision for him. But pulling him from his kids, I kept thinking, like, that's not how that works. You got to get a substitute teacher. But it was just so interesting, because I know in the long run, he really was doing it for his students. Like that definitely was one of the reasons, at least. And I love that. I love the heart of a teacher.
Yeah, it's like he says, my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, that's when you have a good teacher.
It was a very nice driving force.
Yeah. Yeah, very. Yeah, because he kept repeating himself that my kids, and that's what made him the way he is in this book.
Yeah.
And made him number 2.
Well, I wonder if, like, when Ryan Gosling was talking about his kids, if he was talking about his, like, in his mind, in his heart, he was thinking about his real kids, with Eva Menendez. I mean, lucky man right there, right? But But yeah, great moments in both the book and the movie in that regard. Like, done well.
Well, my biggest question for you guys is like, were you satisfied with the ending without giving it away?
Yes. I don't know if there's a way. I'm trying to think if there's any ways I can say anything without giving it away.
Right?
Let me see here. I think it's a great way to come full circle without being what you'd expect. And I think I'll just leave it at there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like while they were slightly different, but not by much, but different, that was done well both ways.
But it also,
I think, but here's the other thing. Andy Weir was on set. He helped with a lot of
very
this.
Close.
So maybe he decided, you know what? This is actually how I would have wanted it. Now that I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he thought about that. You know, it's like when you say something, do something, or you do a project and you kind of look back and go, oh, I should have done that. I should have done that. Or I could have done that. And I think he had an opportunity to kind of go, now I'm going to finish it the other way I was thinking. You know, he had an opportunity. He saw it. He took it, which is great. So
it's the same concept as with go back to The Martian. You know, you got an ending for The Martian in the book, and then you have a different ending in Martian the movie. So it's like, you know, it's understandable. It's the big screen. You know, you have to have your different ending, or should I say, happy ending. You know,
it was a good ending for both of them. I thought it was a good ending, and again, good book to movie. I felt, and just
it's a fantastic
read the book, watch the movie.
Yeah, it's a fantastic one and done story. I know they talked about like they could maybe do a sequel, but it's kind of one of those things of like the only reason I'd want a sequel is to see more of Rocky and Poe, and I'll just kind of put a star in it there.
How about just make Rocky his own animated series and let's just go?
Yeah, you know. But like that'd be the only reason I want, because it's like as far as what's going on with those people, it's like I don't want to know what's going on in that regard. And but no, this book is great for a bunch of reasons, and you keep on circling or talking kind of around that point, Nicole, of like, you know, there's so many great ethical dilemmas in it, and you know, I mean, it also really shows you too when you're first talking about this. I was thinking of too is like it's great to also show when you talk about your call to action specifically it's great to show of like what can be accomplished when people actually work together, because that's something you barely really see anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it was cool that even though it was still set up in a very realistic way of like, you know, it's not always going to be this way forever, and that there could be definitely consequences and all that. That moment in time of however long it took for him, the preparation is cool to see of like, well, this is what we can actually do as a human race if we all didn't have, you know, sticks up our butts or something like that, you know? And so,
you know, and see, and, you know, in the chat, Darth Beard says it right. You know, it's like, I think the book was enough, because if you really, with all the science that was in that book, you know, it made sense how it finished in the book.
Yeah.
So I do agree with him.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's like,
fair.
It worked
and
out.
it's explained. Yeah. And it's explained why. Yeah. Yeah. So it's
see, that's actually a point that I really liked about the book was that when I feel like the only futuristic thing was the astrophage. If it wasn't for the astrophage, everything else was like concepts of things that we already knew, like I was talking about a little bit earlier. And I actually really like that we didn't get to in the book see this is what Earth would look like many years later, as we know how technology is always advancing. We see technology grows at an exponential rate. We're seeing it nowadays with AI, especially. This talk about AI wasn't nearly as big 5 years ago, and like we knew what AI was. Everybody knew what AI was 5 years ago, but if you would have asked people, hey, in 10 years, do you think AI is going to take a bunch of jobs? People would have been like, no. But look at where we are now 5 years later, And so the point is you can't really predict like what the next big thing is going to be.
Right.
You should always expect, hey, there will be some sort of big thing happening next with our society, but you're never going to know what. You never know what conflict is going to come up. You never know what big technological advancement comes up. And those are things that ultimately shapes the world. And the fact that when the scenario was presented, it was like, that's what would happen if the world as we know it, at least when the book was released in 21, I believe, 5 years ago, would have been like, if we press the pause button on what the world looks like on that year, with maybe slightly more technological advancements, if anything, that's what we can do.
Yeah.
And so the fact of, that we don't get to see what the Earth looks like after so many years later, I really like that open interpretation, because it's like, well, you really wouldn't know how the Earth would look. It's like, sure, buildings would be the same, but it's like, you don't know how phones would look then. Phones look very different 15 years ago. Like 15 years ago was kind of like when phones were kind of start looking as the way we know them, And so it's just interesting.
And
they continue to go and go, It's like, who would have thought we'd get foldable smartphones? That was like a thing, like what, 5 years ago when we really started seeing those. It's like you never know. I know that's what I really liked about the ending of the book, was you didn't get to see of like them saying this is what it looks like so many years later, when there'd be changes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I agree 100% there. But also what I want to add to it for the ending for the book is that, which I totally love, is the conversation between him and Rocky, that the last conversation that they have, they understand each other as good friends, as great friends. And if you really look into it, they're like, you really see they're best friends, because the little joke there at the end by Rocky, and so it's like, that was a great way to end it.
Yes.
It was such a great way to explore their friendship, and I love that the story took such a left turn there in a great way there. I loved it so much. There's a point in the story when it seems like that they think they would say goodbye. And I remember after I finished reading that chapter, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put you down for a little bit and feel sad for a little bit. And I don't remember if it was later that night or the next day when I got back to it, but I just, it's something that really set with me. And they do such a great job of that relationship. I love it a lot.
Yeah, agreed. Well, this has been wonderful. Again, tonight is just a small snapshot into the conversation about the book, Project Hail Mary, as well as a snippet into the movie, because we don't want to give it away. We want you to read the book and go see the movie, because they were both great. But now let's rate them. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, this is one of those cases that I think, definitely watch and read, but I think it should actually be done in that order. I think I have it ingrained in my mind for whatever reason of like, you should probably check out the source material first and then go check out the adaptation. Although I think it's fair to say too that for something that's really well done, it's easy for you to like whatever you know first, as that's what you know it is first. But this is one of those cases where I really think, and this is a testament to how great the movie's done, I think it could be better beneficial overall to watch the movie first, then go read the book.
Yeah.
We did this way. Well, I did it this way, and I liked it that way. So,
well, see, I only say that, and if you want me to go ahead and get my rating, I can. But I only say that because I feel like reading the book first and seeing how much more was in the book was the only reason that made me drag down the movie a little bit.
Okay, fair.
But if I didn't know that, I don't think but on the flip side, there's certain details that when I watch it, I want to probably completely understood. So like that's also kind of like why I'm interested in kind of like what some people think of like if you didn't read the book. You know, what would you think about certain parts of the movie, you know? And so, you know, there's a big flip side to that I'm also very curious about on the other way. But
all right, so let's give a rating, both book and movie, please. I would say give thumbs up because that seems to be perfect. But
you mean yeah.
If you know, you know.
You know, you know.
Yeah.
So let's go with stars, shall we? Books and movie. Waldo?
Yeah, it's like you said, book for me, it's, you know, like what Rocky will say, you know, thumbs down. If you know, you know, right? No, man. You guys know how much, when we first talked about The Martian, how much I love that book, right? You know, the way it starts, right? But then when I read this one, it's like, oh man, I gotta read it again because it was fantastic. And of course I read it again because for this. So book wise, yeah. Way up there, one of his best work. Movie adaptation, it's hard to give it a really high rating because of how, you know, how much I love the book, but you also got to understand what we talked about. If we put everything, 6-hour movie, of course, right, or more, with all the science. So, you know, I still will give it up there a good 8.5 to 9 because of the adaptation they did to it. You know, there's people could understand what's going on. That's, you know, and it did very well at the box office. So, yeah, I will give that for the movie.
Spencer?
I mean, I think this is one of those rare like books of like, holy cow, people like must read it. I would even recommend it over The Martian just since it has so much more to it while also being able to tell a story in a great way. You know, both stories revolve around such a witty, great trying to think of a way. I'm just going to say the first word that comes to mind: asshole of a protagonist, and the way he thinks, right? And so, which is great. As well as, you know, both of them do this great mix of entertaining story and science. But like, the Project Hail Mary though is like it's a must read. I think it was a must read. It's not a lot of book. I mean, granted, I'll be honest, I don't go out and read a lot of books outside of the usual geeky stuff I'm into, but of what I've read, I definitely think it's like, oh, this is a must read. It's you got to go read this. Like it's that good, and not a lot of books I'd really be like, you must read. And the ones I am kind of like that are like really geeky ones too. I mean, I guess this one is too, in a different sense, but you know what I mean. So with that being said, with how great it was, and I really have no notes. The only thing the only potential note I would give about this book to maybe be better, although I still think it really worked, was I kind of wish a couple of the flashbacks maybe happened just slightly earlier, because by the time when you get to the end of the book, it'd be like, I just want to know what's going on, of what's happening as they're resolving this thing, and then flashback. And then it's like, what did this flashback add to pause it right here? I only felt this like once or twice. And that's a very minor note. And when I mean very minor, it doesn't even affect my overall score, because other than that kind of little thing, and I think that was just part of me just being invested in so much of what was going on. I think I would give it a rare masterpiece, 5 out of 5. And so,
nice.
As far as the movie score, I would just lower it just a little bit to like a 4.5 out of 5. And so it's still a great adaptation, and yeah, it's great, and for a lot of the reasons that Ubaldo said. So.
That is Miss Elfie. For those who are just joining us, my cat Elfie and Glinda love to come by and say hello to everybody. So real quick, Project Hail Mary actually did dominate. It was the top of the box office last weekend.
Yeah.
It made 80.6 million domestically, 140.9 million globally. It is the biggest opening of 2026. No shocker. And actually, it is so far the best ever for Amazon's MGM Studios and the second highest for a non-franchise original film behind Oppenheimer. Although Oppenheimer was based off of real life stuff, this is pure like in Andy Weir's brain. So just saying. So heck yeah, this is awesome. I'm so I'm just so excited and very proud of Andy Weir and what's happened for him, and this is just wonderful. Darth Beard, I'm so glad you're here. He says both 5 for 5. He also says, I used to think The Martian was the best, and we get out of Andy Weir and movie. And then we get this. The only thing we're missing was the potato. I'm more like a 4.5 for both because minus the potato and then 2, ow. Ow. Yeah, it was a great movie, great book to movie adaptation, book to movie I've seen, so I really like the movie. So yeah. So that being said, I am just excited to see what else Andy Weir has up his sleeve. Trust me, and part of me is like excited, hopefully, to meet him this weekend at C2E2 in Chicago. So if you're going to be there, let me know. Yeah, and I'm excited. But you know what else I'm excited for, you guys? May. It's coming. This month we just finished up our May. I did a March Madness for our Star Wars book club read that we're going to be reading in May, and it came pretty darn close between a couple of books, a couple of times. 50-50. I had to redo some of them because they were 50-50. And I'm so excited because although April, we're going to be taking the month off for our book club, we are returning in May because May is full of Star Wars. Red 5, of course, is built on originally Star Wars. I mean, hello, if you know, with Luke Skywalker. Side note, Red 5 Network, make sure you check out everybody at BioLink/Red 5. And one more quick shout out. Yes, it is. I'm going to go back to Science Fictionary from earlier. Check out his episode. He dropped an episode today about Tolkien because today is Tolkien Day. Although I'm getting prepared for
and big news. The big Tolkien movie news came out today too.
Well, there's Tolkien news and there's Harry Potter stuff today. There's just a lot of news today. Harry
Potter thinking that they can, take the day on Tolkien Day. You know who the ultimate,
Side note, I like both. However,
today's Tolkien Day, not Harry Potter Day.
It's a whole different conversation. But that being said, getting back to our book club read in May, May is full of Star Wars. Okay, 501 first on May 1st. Of course, we have the original OG. Hello, May 25th for the original Star Wars movie, and of course, everyone celebrates May the 4th. But trust me, the Revenge of the 5th and the 6th were strong, especially in this poll. Because let me tell you, the Sith kept showing up, and I was just like, oh, dang. Nobody else was getting an opportunity at all. And lo and behold, coming very close into, it was a tie for a while. And it finally squeaked by. I texted these two. This is going to get interesting. It's tied. For a while, it was tied. And then all of a sudden, it pulled ahead. For May, we're going to be reading Darth Plagueis. I'm excited because we're reading Legends. James Sereno. I hope I said his name right. I'm so excited. We're going to be reading Darth Plagueis in May. Mm-hmm. I am excited. To read Darth Plagueis. I have a feeling we might end up reading Darth Maul in the long run because our book club has really been wanting to read some Maul as well. I'm I'm going to have to reread so much this year. Darth Beard, you are welcome to join us in the month of May. We meet on Sunday nights. We meet in our Red 5 Network's Discord. We have a great time. And you get to hang out with these two and me. So have I read that before? I have not. It's actually been on my bucket list. I read a lot though. Okay. This is not like I read Star Wars, but I don't just read Star Wars. I read sci-fi. I read comic books. I love historical fiction and even historical romance. So my library has endless bounds of genres in it. It's not just one size fits all. Yeah, I'm excited. So don't give it away. Or in what do you say, Ubaldo, when you know something?
I can either confirm or deny.
Yeah, that's what we say in our book club. Neither confirm or deny. My favorite is Behind Revenge of the Sith and Kenobi. Oh yeah, I've actually got a Kenobi book right behind me with Master and Apprentice, which was also in the poll, but it didn't even it tried. The Sith was strong, except for Dooku. Oddly enough, I was waiting for Dooku to kind of pull forward a little bit more, but it didn't. Because between Plagueis and Maul, that just seemed to be the two everyone was really excited for. So I'm excited for the month of May. So yeah, April we're gonna take off, but I mean we still have our Discord. We'll still be there chit-chatting, getting suggestions, hanging out. Who knows? We might even continue to talk a little bit more about Project Hail Mary because life happened this month, so we didn't get to talk as much as we normally get to talk. So yeah. But that being said, I am so excited. Thank you both for humming in, hanging out. Spencer, you have been a busy man. I mean, we've all been busy. Okay,
very busy.
Very clear.
Been busy. Very busy.
How we have stuck time in to read is beyond me. We have carved out time for this. Where can everyone find you on social media? And what are you up to this week, next week? What's coming out in 1 week?
You're 100% right. I keep myself always very busy. You can find me over on the Dingus Den. Look at these nice cards I made. You can also check it out. QR code. This might work from here. Where you can find my socials there. I'm on X, Threads, Instagram. All leads to my YouTube, where I talk about comics mainly. Have comic reviews dropping. Recently, I've been going through a lot of the Intertwined Universe stuff. So if you're a Transformers or G.I. Joe fan, make sure you check out all that stuff. Nice. I have a G.I. Joe Volume 2 review dropping very soon. I've also been doing some comic interviews. Nice. I have one dropping with my friend who joins me for all the Intertwined Universe reviews, where he's actually a comic creator himself, and where he made an awesome comic called The Adventures of Sega and Joe. We've had this interview recorded for a bit, so make sure you check out the interview for that. That's finally going to drop sooner than later. And then also with the last few guests that I've recorded with, I also have a fun segment that I've recorded called the Dingus Questionnaire, which is like a fun side thing that we've done with all the interviews that I'm excited for that to start finally seeing the light of day. The only reason that I haven't released that yet is because I've been spending a little bit of time trying to make an intro when I'm not stupid busy. However, that's been low on the list because I've been doing a bunch of other things, as I'm not just always just involved in this. Next week is April Fool's Day, which means, given that I haven't edited in time because I have a very busy week ahead of me, for full transparency, we recorded our Batman The Long Halloween episodes over both St. Patrick's Day, which is coming a little bit later just because of some technical problems, but we got that sorted out, as well as the April Fool's episode, which was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
It was.
Can we talk about that you guys made me into a whole new character that I was not expecting. And not only that, I might be assigned to that character in the future.
It was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. And so,
yeah. Oh wow.
But yeah. You talked about C2E2s happening for you. There's a bunch of other cons going around. I see there's a good sized con going on in Kansas City that one of my friends is going to that I'm jealous about because they're having a bunch of cool guests. But I'm also going to another con this weekend in my home state, which is the Lexington Comic and Toy Con. They have a bunch of fun things going on. Very excited for that. It looks like it'll be another fun year.
Nice.
So just want to shout that out because I got lots of stuff behind. Actually, you're talking about comic hauls. This is today's comic haul of stuff. So
yeah, you put my book. You just take my how much? Okay, maybe not this weekend, but beyond that, you put my comic book run to shame. But that's okay. Oh, you know what's also coming out?
These two were ordered to get signed, but it just happens to all come in today. So.
Special note, because I haven't seen a lot of stuff out there yet. Free Comic Book Day is coming up in May.
There is a weird thing going on with it this year, but make sure you check it out.
Yeah, because I'm like, I have hardly really seen anything about it because we are both
happening.
Fans.
The weird thing, and I'll give this as a friendly what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Oh, it's Saturday, May 2nd.
It is Saturday, May 2nd. There is also I don't remember the other thing of it, but there's this whole thing where it's technically Free Comic Book Day is still happening, and then there's another thing happening on that same day, and it's because of the distributors are like different. So it's like Marvel or DC, one of them stuck with who distributes to Free Comic Book Day, and then a lot of others went to this other publisher for whatever reason. Distribution things that's happened in the comic world. I'm not 100% sure.
A lot of shifting. A lot of shifting around.
Conversation because I'm
so it's Free Comic Book Day plus Free Comics Day or something basic like that is the other name that's also happening. I don't remember the exact name of it right now.
They
Comic Giveaway Day. It might be called Comic Giveaway Day.
They couldn't just team up like they already have.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It is called Comics Giveaway Day is the other one. And it's that's the one that Marvel, Dark Horse, IDW, Boom, Ignition Press is all teamed up for, but then all the others are still
not okay. I'm gonna have to do some research because I'm just wondering, I'm wondering how that's gonna work.
I will say this to anybody that goes to your comic store.
Talk to
what you're doing as a consumer is not going to be different because you're still going to get all the same offerings. Just some are going to say Free Comic Book Day on it. The others are going to say Comics Giveaway Day on it.
Yeah.
And that's all that.
And support your local comic book store. Big time. Big time. May 2nd. That's what got me into comic books in the first place. Minus comics in the Sunday newspaper as a kid, okay? Minus that, because technically I loved Garfield and I loved Charlie Brown as a kid. Technically, that really was the beginning, but it was really Comic Book Day that really got me reading comic books. And now I love to share that because I want to, hey, that is reading. You can read. Children can read. Adults can read. Read comic books. If that is what your preferred reading is, at least you're reading. That is so, so important. And if it's free, you don't have to buy anything else. And if you decide you want to buy anything else, then you support your local comic book store, which keeps them in business, which is very, very important. So that being said, hey, Ubaldo, would you like to share where everyone can find you today? Because you're a little on the anonymous side, anonymous side today. I mean, for all I know, you could be, hanging out with,
I'm hanging. Yeah.
All the dark Sith and all that stuff. Right? I mean, that would jive.
Yeah, it's coming a little bit on the dark side right now. Yeah, no, and another more information on those comics. Most of these shops pay for that. So, don't just get your free comics. Buy something from them because that's how you support them. And, that's how they kept running their shops, for you guys to come out and enjoy those days. But, for me, you can find me lurking, still on Twix, I'm also on Threads and Instagram. So, I should come, in the chat once in a while here and there. So That's where you'll find me.
And you'll find him in the Red 5 Reading Book Club. And you'll also find Spencer in the Red 5 Tavern once in a while. Well, not once in a while, but on Fridays, mostly.
Mhm.
Yeah, Fridays whenever we're all free.
Yeah.
I also do other tabletop stuff on the Tabletop Lounge. There's a bunch of things going on there. I run games Monday nights, live on the Dingus Den Twitch. I do gaming on Twitch too. See, I do too much things. When I say, anytime I promo my stuff, I just talk about the YouTube stuff that I do on my channel. I don't include any of the other stuff I do on other people's channels and all that.
Yes, he's a busy man.
Even also including my Twitch and how I also do tabletop stuff on there Monday nights and it gets uploaded to YouTube, and there's a bunch of other fun things going on there. So make sure you go check that out too.
Yeah.
All
right. That being said, we're going to wrap this up because I've got a busy day ahead, a busy 3 days, 5 days. It's been nonstop. Let's be honest. We've all been on a busy slope, but I'm so glad. I'm so grateful to both of you guys for hanging out, coming and joining me tonight. Coming to Book Club. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that's been in our chat. Thank you to everybody that's lurking actually on live. And I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button. That would be appreciated. We will have more coming because trust me, On the Fives will be returning in April. I don't know about the 5th, but 15th and the 25th, you better believe it's coming back. And back to May, we are going to be reading Darth Plagueis. So get your copy. Maybe I'll even find me a fun copy over this weekend and C2E2. Fingers crossed. You never know what you're going to see. So anyways, with that being said, make sure you check out the Red 5 Network, check out the Dingus Den, and find Ubaldo lurking, and also hang out with us at the Red 5 Reading Book Club. Until next time, it has been great. And thank you again for checking us out tonight.